Hello, welcome back. Part 2 of the kitchen edition. I hope you like that strawberry video. Remember, it's the vinegar that will kill mold and bacteria and prolong the life of your strawberries. Anyway, part 2, I'm gonna go into a number of different food staples. Biggest dilemma I see when I go to the supermarket, I need a ripe avocado. They're all green, they're all green. I buy all my avocados green. I buy 5 at a time, put them in the garage, which is a little cooler than the house, and then 4 or 5 days later, I have ripe avocados, perfectly ripe avocados. And then when I bring these in the house, I can store these in the fridge. Once they're ripe, put them in the fridge, go back and buy 5 more green avocados. Okay, how do we slice and dice this one? Look at this. This was just like that, very simple and easy. Open it, cut it in half. Well, you can peel it like this maybe. You can just peel it, but cutting it in half makes it a little bit easier. Peel it. I have a little table trash can right there. This is another efficient device that instead of having a big trash can, I'm gonna put it on a plate, right like that, slice it. This is a nice presentation. But you could also, and then somebody wants avocado. There you go, avocado. Next one, mushrooms. We do mushrooms sauteed every week. I'm going to show you how to choose a mushroom. First of all, it should be kind of rubbery. Oh, I have to mention, that I buy mushrooms now in bulk instead of the store-bought packages. The packages have little mushrooms. These, in bulk, you can buy bigger mushrooms, and I look for mushrooms. A lot of times, the stems will be cut, almost removed. So you're not buying stem, you're buying mushroom, okay? And the other thing, so you want to look for a mushroom where this is solid here. You notice that? I bought one on purpose that's starting to open. That means it's been sitting there longer. You see that? The mushroom is still good. The mushroom should be rubbery feeling when you touch it like this. If it's dry, it's been there too long. Okay, misconception number 1, don't wash the mushrooms. Most restaurants never wash mushrooms. They get a whole case and they just cook them with all that dirt on there. It's sterile. The dirt, it's not really dirt. It's a rooting medium. It's sterile, but if you take 2 mushrooms or 3 at a time and under cold running water, rub them like this, all that, right before you use it. Never wash the mushroom before. People think you can't wash mushrooms. I do every time I use them, but only right before I use them. And under running water, rub them like this, and the action will remove any of that. It's a rooting medium, okay? And then to slice the mushrooms. Now mushrooms are gonna shrink when you slice them. Mushrooms are gonna shrink when you slice them. I love these mushrooms because they have but look at this. I'm gonna go for nice, thick slices, and then I'll saute this. But you see how thick that is? This is the same size mushroom that I cooked last night. That's how much they shrink, okay? That's how much they shrink. So if you bought a box of the little pre-boxed white mushrooms, those mushrooms are already this big, and then they're gonna shrink. So remember, these mushrooms were this big last night. That's how much they shrink when you cook them. Okay. Apples. Who loves an apple? Well, I'm gonna have an apple at lunch today. And the thing that I see what happens is people bite into an apple. That's hard to do. And in the end, a lot of apple gets thrown away with the core. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take an apple to lunch. I'm gonna cut it in half, and I'm gonna cut it in half again. And then just simply trim out that center part. Here's my little trash can, and then trim out that center part. Right, there's the core. Core is gone. And then with some saran wrap. So I can put all of these together, but I could also package them like this at a time. There's one of my apples that I'm gonna take to work, and then I do the other one the same way. Okay, and I forgot this in my lunchbox one week, and it was there for 4 days, and it was still good. I ate it. Okay, it wouldn't be if it was in the sun, but anyway, that's how you do your apple. Slice it up and And then you can eat that apple. Eat it all down, no core, really easy to go. Onion. A lot of times I'll have a little piece of parchment paper when I do onion. If I cut onion on here, it's gonna leave some smell. And then if I cut something else, that smell may impart in what I'm cooking. Notice that an onion has, like tree rings, it has growth rings, okay? I'm gonna take advantage of that. It's one thing if you're gonna slice onion for a sandwich, you wanna slice it nice and thin, right? But in this case, I'm gonna make pico de gallo. So I'm gonna cut it in half. I can fold that over. I'm gonna take advantage of those rings, and I'm gonna cut across them like that. I'm gonna cut across them, and you can see what's happening. I get a really nice, and I'm gonna be making pico de gallo this afternoon anyway, so I'm already set. You see that? It's really easy. And then I'm gonna put that into a little bowl. And this is another thing to have, is a collection of these little bowls that you can use to prep your cooking. If you have to measure, your spices, you can have them in a bowl. There's that. Might as well go on to cilantro, because that's going to be part of the pico de gallo. Cilantro, and you see how I'm doing this? I'm going to make a little bowl. You can use this technique not only with cilantro, but with parsley. You make a little tiny ball, and then you do the same thing. You hold it tight with your fingers. See that? And there it is. It doesn't get any finer than that. Okay. Again, I have a little bowl that I can put that in. See, these are different size and shape bowls. Serving, this would be good for sauces too, this particular one. Anyway, we have those ready. Put it here. Looks like we're getting ready for a Mexican feast. So we got the mushrooms. I showed you how to do the mushrooms, right? Avocado, apple. Here we got the apple. And then the last one is going to be serrano. This is one of my favorites, okay? I go to the store and I try to pick straight serranos. Straight, as opposed to curve. It's going to be really hard to cut and to seed something like that. This one actually has a couple of little kind of pitted a little bit. I would prefer to have, as a gardener, I'm looking at fruit and vegetables, because they are plants. Those little pits, if this stays in the refrigerator for a week, those are going to start to rot right there. Better to get it with just completely smooth, and it should be firm, and ideally with a stem and green. You can see this is already getting old because it's black and dry. So this is a little older. I'd rather have a green stem. Anyway, this is hard to deal with. Have a straight serrano. I'm going to show you how to do this. Cut the end off right through the middle. And then you take your knife. I want to deseed this one, okay? And that's it. Look at that. So here we go again. If it was curved, you can see how much, you could understand how much trouble that would be to deseed. There it is. Okay. Then to dice it, we're going to do the exact same thing. Look at this. I got another little shape of bowl. There's different shapes you can get. But if I cut long, thin strips here, I'm going to do both. And this, again, it's a straight chili, so this becomes very easy to do. And then you're going to even them up, hold it together tight with your hands again, and you can make the tiniest. When you make pico de gallo, adding very fine, look at that, very fine chili to it, you're spreading out that heat instead of having a big chunks of chili. You got little fine pieces spread out throughout the whole thing. And you can see that, how nice and fine that is. Again, we're using these little containers. Again, this little container is awesome. If your recipe calls for a number of dry spices, you get them all pre-measured. And there it is. Did we forget anything? One more thing if we have time. Not sure where we're at, but this is garlic. I grew it in my garden. See? And I'm going to show you this one. You can just pop that skin right off. At least in theory, pop the skin off. There it goes. I'm going to get one more little container here. And we're going to do the same thing. So in this case, okay, so it's got a flat side there. What am I going to do? So it's got a nice flat side. I'm going to start by, if you can see this from the angle, cutting it in planes that way. Now I'm going to take advantage of that flat side. It's going to be a little easier. Turn my stuff so you can see this. Okay, crosswise now. That's good. And now, same technique as we used with everything else. Look at that, look at that. You see how fine that is? Okay, and it's very easy. And then, again, put it into something ready to use. And I will be cooking this afternoon, cooking dinner and making. Okay, what did we do? A lot. We did a lot. We did a lot. And Life of Chai, there you have it. Part 2. Enjoy, subscribe, like it, share it with your friends. Signing off.